Hi, this is Wayne Delisle. In this article, we're talking about building your dream business. I love this quote from Yogi Berra, and I got to read this because I can't do a Yogi Berra quote without reading it because they really don't make a lot of sense until you think about them. This quote, you got to be very careful if you don't know where you're going because you might not get there. It's like every other one, you know, it's getting late real fast. That's another one of his quotes. Makes sense, though, if you think about it. I mean, if you don't know where you're going, you might not get there. That's the problem with most businesses. Most businesses, they don't start with the exit strategy. An exit strategy is not a plan to fail. It's a plan to succeed. The way I try to explain it, you will run your business very differently if your idea behind this business is you just got a business because you want to stay home with the kids and you just want to be able to pay the bills, as opposed to running a business that you want to grow and sell for $10 million in 10 years. The difference in how you run both of these is going to be dramatic, and you need to know that in advance, all right? Because if you're going to plan to sell this business in 10 years, you need to work on systems, you need to figure out how to grow it. So we're talking about having a vision. And the sad thing is when I sit down and talk to new businesses, every new business, they're excited. I mean, it's fantastic. You got a new vision, you got a new process going on, you got a new... You can feel the excitement. I love dealing with new business owners, except I know what's going to happen next. They start the business and reality gets in the way. All right? And slowly but surely, what starts to happen is they have to do what I just did. Little things. You got to clean the desk. You got to figure out where you're going to be. You got to pay the bills. You got to hire employees. I didn't want to hire employees. I wanted to do work. All right, now you got to manage them. Now the government's around and they want sales tax. What the hell do I know about sales tax, right? Most business employees have no clue. And the IRS is around, and I need a food handler's card if I'm in a restaurant, and they're going to come inspect me, and they're not the only ones inspecting me, because now the fire marshal comes in, and it's one after another, after another, after another. And before you know it, you're beat down. And that's what happens within 6 months to a year. Because the truth of the matter is, every new business, and I have a little saying that I use, every time you're planning something, it's going to cost you 2 times as much and take 3 times as long, or the other way around. Because reality doesn't match your dream. But does that mean you give up on your dream? No, it really doesn't. It means you have to be realistic about making your plans and have a plan to get there. All right? We expect to practice everything. Nobody expects to go out on the baseball field or the soccer field or get up and learn how to drive a car without practice. We don't expect that. But everybody thinks that they can do a business without practicing the basic things. They think they can set goals without practice. Well, that's not the way it works. Businesses grow. Yeah, we have an article in here about, you know, the 10 ways to triple your sales and profits in quickly. You know, I forget what we said, 6 months or whatever. And yeah, there are. We've sat down with plenty of people and put together how to do a marketing plan, or I've seen ways we can increase their cash flows dramatically. But what happens is studies have shown that the businesses that increase rapidly plateau and sometimes stagnate, and even worse, sometimes fail. I had a business that I remember that did $300,000 in sales in year 1, and each of the owners took home almost $80,000. In year 2, they jumped to $3 million and had a $600,000 loss. Why? What happened was their business outgrew their infrastructure and their systems. So really, the businesses that grow, and that's why you have the hockey stick, all right? And they start off slow, they start off slow, and then they take off. That's a pretty standard between, 5 to 10 to 15 years, sometimes longer, all right? What we're looking at is because they've slowly grown at 2% a month, and the businesses that grow at 1 or 2% a month sustain that, because it's easier to say, I have 100 customers, next month I want to have 102. The month after that I want to have 105. The month after that I want to have 110. I'm talking about slow, steady growth, and I can hire slowly, I can train correctly, I can put systems in place. That's if anybody's read any of Deming's management material, it's that idea of slow, steady improvement, constant, slow, steady improvement that we're talking about. So that's really kind of what we're looking at when we're talking about building our dream business. And I put 5 steps out there, because step 1 says, first thing I need to do is I need to develop my long-term goals and my exit strategy. Look, there is no such thing as a bad goal. There's only your goal. What is it you're trying to accomplish? And I put in the article a bunch of things that you can talk about, questions you need to ask yourself. Where are you headed? When do you want to get there? What do you want your business to look like when you get there? Excuse me. I quote Robert Gerber from E-Myth Revisited in there. He calls it the primary aim. And he talks about, what's your wish for life? How on earth can you begin to live if you don't know what your wish is? What's the first step that you need to take? How are you going to measure progress? And we go through that, because things will get in the way. So you need to kind of make sure you know what you're doing. All right? And kind of go back there. You have to start back at the beginning to get your passion. You want to rekindle your passion, and then you need to have a plan and put that vision back in your life. Because I can tell you straight out, the businesses I work with that are in it to make money don't really do as well as the businesses that are in it to do something, to create a product, I'd rather, all right, if you're going to go be a customer of a business, and let's say I'm walking into a restaurant, do I want to go to the restaurant that's worrying about making a profit and they're going to squeeze every dime out of me they can? Or am I going to go to the one that all they really want to do is provide me the best food they can cook because it's their passion? They want to really take care of their customers. Well, I'm obviously going to pick the second one as a customer. And customers are much more savvy than they used to be. They can tell what you're there for. And now, with the social media, they not only are savvy about it, but they can tell their friends and their 100 friends. And if they got 500 people on Facebook and each one of their friends has 500 people, it doesn't take a long time to figure out, don't go there, man, because they're going to charge you extra for everything. And this place here, they're doing a really good job. The food quality is great. They know you. You're like family. They do anything you ask, special orders, whatever, So, quickly that gets around. And the passion behind it you need to rekindle. So go back and get that passion by serving your vision and where you're trying to get. Step 2, though, look, business is about numbers. We're in the business. We're not, if you don't care about making a profit, start a nonprofit. Right? If you opened your business to get enough money to take care of your personal dreams, like sending your kids to college, being able to take vacations, being able to buy that good car, and being able to give money to charity. I don't really care. Again, I said there's no bad dreams. It's your dream, whatever that may be. At the end of the day, the business is about numbers. So the second step is to take your vision and make it a 5-year goal. What does that vision mean to you in 5 years from now? Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. If your vision is, in 5 years, my kids are going to be getting ready for high school, I want to be able to get them a car, I want to make sure I can pay my bills and pay off all my bills. I don't care what that is. Figure out what that number is. Well, how much does that mean you need to make in sales to pay the product, to pay your costs, to have a net profit to put in your pocket to take care of your vision? If your vision is, I want to grow this business to $1 million in profit so that I can sell it for 5 times profit and make $5 million, retire, and I don't want to work, or I want to give it to charities, or I want to go start 2 more businesses, whatever your vision is, that's a different vision. Okay, fine. Whatever that number is. If the number is 5 years from now I want to be making $500,000 in sales, or in 5 years I need to make $10 million in sales, turn your dream. Step 2 is to turn your dream and vision into a number. What is the number you want? One thing you look at, I've tried to be doing a diet recently, okay? You don't start a diet by saying, I want to lose 50 pounds and I want to do it in the next month. Sure, go ahead. That's a great way to fail. But if I say I want to do 25 pounds in the next year, turn that into, okay, that's a little under a pound a week, it's actually like a half a pound a week, okay? That might be, getting rid of 2 desserts. I'm a cookie monster, so don't buy a bunch of cookies, or eat 2 instead of 10. It might be, cooking at home once or twice, getting a healthy salad instead. But you're changing, maybe it just means, doing a little exercise 3 times a week. Because now, if I say I'm going to lose 25 pounds in a month, you and I both know I'm not going to do it because it's impossible. I'll quickly give up. I have to starve myself to death. But if I say I'm going to do 25 pounds in a year, that's doable. That's less than a half a pound a week. I can even give myself 2 weeks off, as long as I don't gain another 20 pounds during those 2 weeks off. Okay, business is the same way. If I say I'm selling $1 million today, and I want to sell 10 million in 5 years, and I want to get up to a $10 million company, that just sounds ridiculous. You sit there and you go, I don't know how to do that. Okay, let's talk about that. What step 2 is, turn that into a financial goal. All right. Step 3 then is to come up with a 1 year. What is it you need to do in the next year to reach your 5-year goal? All right. So you work it backwards. What does it look like in 5 years? And I cover this a lot more detail, so read the article, because there's things you want to look at. There's ways you can do that. If you're in a niche and there's a big guy out there, we live in an information world. Do some research. How many employees? If somebody, excuse me, somebody has a company with 10 million in sales, how many employees do they have? That gives you an idea. If you got 1 and they got 50, well, now you know what you need. You're going to need probably 50 employees. Maybe you can do it better. You can do 40. Well, that means you're going to have systems in place where you're going to have, in the next 5 years, you're going to have to figure out how to get from 1 to 50. You're going to have to know how to hire. You're going to have to know how to train. You're going to need the systems in place. Next thing, do the research. What kind of systems do they have in place? Because you're going to need to create the same systems. All right? How do they sell? What do they sell to? Where are they at? All right? Sounds like a lot. It is. It's hard work. I mean, you can dream or you can accomplish it. Remember the theory that we have, the motto we have for the magazine: good ideas plus action. And that's the number one thing that most businesses don't do. They don't plan. They have a great idea. They don't plan to institute the action that they need to do. Once you do both, you get massive profits. All right. And this article is trying to tell you how to walk through that. Okay. And in the future, keep your eyes open if this is something that interests you. We're going to put a product out which walks you through how to create this. All right. So then, once you have the 5-year goal, step 3 is to bring that back. What has to be done in the next year to reach your goal? All right. Now, once you do it in the next year, what needs to be done in the next 3 months? All right. If in a year from now I'm at $1 million and I want to get up to 1.5 million, because remember, slow, steady increase. If I want to get to 10 million, I'm not going to go from 1 to 2 to 6 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10. That's not how it works in real life. You're probably going to go to 1 to 1.5 to 2.2 to 3.8 to 6. It's going to be geometrical. It's not going to be perfect. Because if you do the math, a 2% increase, you might have to figure out all you need is a 2% increase per month. But if you do the math, that actually does more than just a 2 times 12 is 24% increase. In the first year, that actually probably gets you about a 30% increase. In the second year, it's not 48, it gets you around a 66% increase because it's compounding. So small, steady increases, okay? So if I got to get to if I'm at 1 million and I want to get to 1.6 million in a year, what do I need to do in 3 months to get that? Just plan out the next 90 days. And then take that, what do I got to do in the next 30 days? All right? Now, the next thing, step 4, is to create your dashboard, because you can't manage those numbers. They mean nothing. I had a meeting just recently, actually yesterday, with a person who owned a trucking company where they told me they needed $78,000 to pay their bills, all right, per week. That's what their billings needed to be. I asked them how many trucks they had. They thankfully had 10, which makes the math very easy. 78,000 divided by 10 means each truck needs to do $7,800 per week. Sounded crazy, but they do team driving, which means they can really, that's not impossible, all right? Matter of fact, with only 2 loads a week, they can do 5,000, and they usually do 3.5 to 4 loads a week, all right? But now I've given them a number of how, I took that number, $7,800, per truck. They charge $2 a mile. I'm able to say each truck to break even needs to do $3,500 roughly. I'm simplifying it. $3,700 is really closer to what it was. 3,700 miles. Why did I bring it down to miles? Because they're a trucking company. They bid by miles. Drivers know how many miles they drive. Now all of a sudden I can say 3,700 per week. It's a 6-day week. How many is that per day? Now I can manage this number, because that's what the dashboard is about. The dashboard is about taking your key driver in your industry, and this, because it was yesterday, I remember that one, was very easy to do, because the key driver in the key driver of profits in a trucking company is the miles they drive. If they don't drive, they don't get paid. All right? So this is, what's your key driver? For us, If you're in the sales business, I can think of somebody else who's actually, selling credit card machines and things like that. For them, it's how many phone calls they make to prospect, and then turning that into how many leads they get, turning that over to somebody to close the leads. So their dashboard might look like how many calls are they making, what percentage of the calls are turning into leads, what percentage of the leads are turning into purchases, what percentage of the purchases are lasting a year, 2 years, 3 years. All right, you see what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about what is your dashboard. And we're talking about this down here. Car dealerships do this. They literally track. Harley is one of the best ones. They're not a car dealership, but close enough. Harley Davidson literally tracks, and some of and remember, they're all independent, so I'm thinking of one guy that really kind of helped one recently. And in this group of dealerships that I read about, they track every person who comes in the door, by driver, by salesperson. How many people did they say hi to and shake hands? How many of those people did they get on a test drive? How many people did they get to, what percentage of those did they get to come in and actually write up a contract? What percentage of those did bought the car? All right? And they literally are looking by person, because one person might be good at getting them to take a test drive, but really can't, her percentage might be smaller than the guy that can't get them to make a test drive, but the ones that do take a test drive, 80% of them will write up a contract and 60% will do. So what are they doing wrong? The other thing that happens when you have your dashboard is you're able to manage by where the failure is, all right? If you're looking and like, we don't have enough proposals out there, that's what's going on. Well, let's get more proposals out. Why don't we have enough proposals? We're not making enough initial calls. We're not doing enough mailers. That's what your business dashboard is about. Step 5, we're talking about, and I've already talked about that, implementing improvements that lead to that sustained growth. And this is where I'm talking about using your dashboard and using the monthly homework. All of our homework was designed specifically for that, to identify the one thing that you should work, that if you worked on this month, if you improved this one item this month, would have the largest impact on your business. And then giving you the ability to do that. We've done 12, 13 months worth of magazines that have an average of 10 to 14 articles per month. Let's say 12. So I got 140 to 150 different articles in all areas of business. And we got more articles than that, but that's the ones that had action steps or homework. All right. So, and we're going to put that together for you, and it'll be just for subscribers though, where we'll put together a list of where the article is based on their problem. All right. So that'll be in the next month or two. Watch the magazine, we'll announce it and show you how to do it. All right. So what'll be up there will be a special issue. Basically says, look, I'm having trouble with receivables. That was in our September 20th. I don't know. Don't look this up. I'm not sure where it is. It'll be an issue number whatever, article number whatever, and you can get that. All right. So and the back issues. The good thing about this is they're for sale. So if you have a problem in that, you can probably get, instead of not collecting your receivables, or hiring somebody to collect the receivables, I'll show you, because I've written this article, I'll show you what's worked with the hundreds of people I've helped. And I've done it myself for me and different places I've worked. That's just one example. So, but how do you use it? Well, you use the article and say, this is what I want to work on this month. And then you use the tool, watch that video in here, what I call the best profit, what did I call that thing? Hold on, bear with me. The best, it's in the article, the perfect monthly growth tool. Sorry, titles are all running together. Okay, the perfect monthly growth tool is really just our worksheet. Look, business is easy. And on this worksheet, we talk about business is 3 things. You make the money, you keep the money, and you improve your systems. And that's what's on there. How are you going to make more money, have more customers? How are you going to cut your costs? And which systems are you going to improve? And if you do one of the 3, if you're really good and ambitious, you do one from each category. I'll take one from column A, column B, and column C. And if you do that 12 times a year for 3 or 4 years, you're so far ahead of your competition, you blow them away. And that's what step 5 is. Look, folks, get started. It's obvious to me why so few companies actually do this. That's why the companies that are the most successful represent less than 0.5% of all the businesses that are out there. One of the top 10 ways that I put, and I'll give you a freebie, you don't even have to watch the article. It's almost the #1 thing I tell people to do. Watch what everybody else is doing and don't do that. Because to be quite frank about it, 99% of the customers, the companies that are out there are failing. They're not successful. I mean, okay, they may still be there, but they're not living up. They're not hitting their maximum. They're not doing what they should be doing. So stop following them. Do your own steady increase. And what there isn't a business owner that I've consulted with that doesn't know what they should work on next. They just don't know how. So we're going to take this system, read this article, watch the article on the perfect growth system, print that out, look at it, and then work on that. And I guarantee you, if you do 12 steady increases, you'll be so far ahead of your competition, you'll dominate your niche. Hey, until next time, this is Wayne Belisle, and let's make this our best year ever. Thank you very much.